Hello and welcome to another free Final Cut Pro 10 tutorial. This time we're going to be showing some amazing ninja Ken Burns hacks which are quite incredible. But first, if you like these tutorials, please like and subscribe, maybe hit the bell, leave a comment below or check out the great plugins on our website. On to the Ken Burns ninja tricks. I'm in Final Cut Pro 10 and as you can see I have a still image here of a girl jumping. It's 10 seconds long and nothing happens to it at all. So let's add a Ken Burns move to it, and I'm sure you all know how to do this, but I need to do it to show you what I'm going to do. So Command 4 opens up the inspector, and if I hit the crop, it gives me an option of what type of crop I want to do. So go and say Ken Burns, and you'll see we have start and end points that show up on here. So all I need to do is arrange those to where I want them. So the end point I'm actually going to make quite small on her face, on her head, and the start, let's make that bigger, somewhere around there. Now I'm sure you're pretty familiar with these. That's a preview button on there, and also this swaps the end to the front and the front to the end, so it's a quick way of reversing the move. And I'm sure you've seen some tutorials that people have done by using that, by duplicating things. So at the moment, it's done on there, and we have a fairly standard Ken Burns move, which is pretty good. No keyframing. It works it all out for you. Stops and starts. But we want to get a bit funkier than that. And there are a few ninja tricks that we can do to help. Now, anything we do to this clip is going to split the actual Ken Burns move up. So you don't want to do that. And the key to this is, I think, one of the best features in Final Cut, and that's compound clip. So right click, compound clip. And let's just call this girl. And now, as you can see, nothing's really happened. But what we've done is we've made a compound clip of that image. And we could double click it, open it up, and you'd see that. But the actual move is within the compound clip. And what a compound clip does, it's really clever. It kind of bakes everything into that clip and also makes it new media. So anything that happens within that, I can actually alter. So if I call up the speed, this is Command R, you can see this is 100% all the way through. What I can do is I can actually go Shift B, which is speed blade, which puts a like a speed cut in there. And down to here, I'll do the same. Grab hold of here and have a look at this. Instantly, we've done a big speed ramp in the middle of the Ken Burns effect. I mean, how clever is that? With just a few clicks. I mean, it'd take you forever to try and get this with keyframes and make it look as smooth. Now we've actually got speed transitions on here, as you can see. You can actually turn those off by going into the menu here and just toggling that off. But we can actually go even faster on here, which is pretty cool. Now, one thing I want to do is I want to make that look a bit funkier as well. So if I mark X on there and then open up the title browser, we have got some plugins on here, and these are our recent update to our toolkit. Version 2 of the toolkit has just come out. Very cool. We've added object tracking. So we've got things like map pointers and magnifiers. But of course, there is some motion blur effects, and that's what we're going to use in Final Cut Pro 10. So we'll go back there now. Here we are with the compound clip marked. I just used X, so up to the effects, hit Q, and that applies the motion blur. And as you can see, straight away we get that lovely streaky effect on here, the motion blur, because we've sped up the Ken Burns move so much that the motion blur actually starts to kind of like bite in there. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to render that selection. And while we're doing that, it just gives me time to say, if you are going to do this, I think this image is about 4K wide in a 1080 timeline. If you're going to zoom right in, you do need to have quite a few pixels. That's why it works with a 4K image. You can do this with video, but maybe you need a 4K image in a 1080 timeline to give you that resolution. And let's just play this back. And we get that great motion blur. Up to you how much you want to speed it up and how much motion blur you want on there, but I think that looks quite cool. A great way to add some punch to anything like an advert or a music promo or a trail. And you can match the beat with the zoom, etc. But I'm just going to do one more thing before we move on, and that's using the range tool. And hit R on the keyboard and mark a range. And then go off to the speed tool again and hit rewind on here. And what it does is it takes the area that I've marked, then plays that backwards at 200. So you're not limited to going just forward. You can go backwards as well. And you can do some really complicated things. You could actually make this into a hold, play it backwards, forward, speed it up backwards, whatever you like to do. The only thing you can't do is you can't do speed transitions between going forward and backwards. But apart from that, you can do an awful lot of things. And this is a very flexible way, especially, as I said, if you're trying to match music or hit a beat or emphasis, you can do that. Here we have our next image, and you can already see that we've applied a Ken Burns move. We've gone in to start off with close to the girl's face, and it should pull out to reveal the wall behind her. So I can just preview that. As you can see, we've got nice acceleration. It moves out, and it should eventually slow down and stop at the end of the clip, which it does. Okay, we like that. So again, hit done, and we have that move. Again, we're going to make this into a compound clip. So let's call this girl 2. And this time we're not going to do a speed ramp. We're going to do something with markers. So what I'm going to do is hit M for marker on there, and then go forward by hitting the forward key and the right key twice, which gives us the same gap between all of them. Now you could put these on manually, match them to the beats or some speech or whatever you like for impact. But for this example, I'm just going to put them evenly matched down the compound clip. Nothing happens until we go to the speed menu and say jump cut the markers, and I'm going to go 10 frames. And now we get a staggered zoom. Everything's still moving, so in between the cuts it's still moving. This would take you forever to do with keyframes. And that could really help if you're cutting a trail or a promo, or indeed a music promo, something like that. The last technique is a benefit from us using compound clips. So let me double click this clip to open it up. You can see here's our original image with the move. I'm just going to go Command C, and that copies the Ken Burns move. Then if we open up the browser, you remember this picture of the girl jumping. So I'm just going to drop that on top of the girl, and then go up to my menu and go Paste Attributes, and make sure the crop's selected and paste. Now that puts exactly the same move onto the image, but as you can see, it's zooming out. It's not zooming out from her face. So what I want to do is I want to change that. So again, go into the inspector and hit this to get the Ken Burns move up. I need to click the start to activate that, and then move that to where I want. Done. And now you can see on there I've got to zoom out. And if I go back to the original, I've now got that girl with the same move. So if you're matching up to a promo or something with a beat, you don't have to make this over and over again. One thing I would say, if you duplicate the compound clip, so if I hit Option or Alt and drag to make another version, whatever you do in this clip will be reflected in this. So therefore, if you change the images within this one will change as well, because they're a compound clip. It's the same compound clip. To make them different, you need to go up into the menu to Clip and hit Reference New Parent Clip. And then these are now 2 independent clips, and you can do whatever you like to them, and they won't affect the other one. So there you go. There's kind of like quite a few great tips for doing some really good advanced Ken Burns ninja tricks. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Please like and subscribe. We've got a lot more coming, and hopefully see you on the next one. Bye bye.